Well, this video is basically historical science versus observational science. What's the difference? Well, here's the difference. There is none because it doesn't exist. Scientists do not break science down into historical science and observational science. Creationists do this crap because they don't know what they're talking about, so of course they're going to do it. One of their things, think about forensic science. If a crime is committed, can you imagine if we worked the same way these creationists do? Well, how do you know? You were not there. So how do you know someone committed a crime? You were not there. It's because we have evidence. It's like in forensics, you collect evidence. But they don't understand. They'll say, well, you were not there. You were not there. Well, they were not there when their Bible was written, so how do they know that the people weren't just making this stuff up? They were not there, supposedly, when their God was doing what they think their God was doing, so how do they know their God even exists? They were not there. But really, seriously, there's no such thing as historical or observational science. It's not broken down like that, okay? It really does not. You were not there. Tides go in, tides go out. You can't explain that. It's just nonsense. They just say nonsense. You just gotta laugh at them. There really is just for historical science. Think about how if we went by if we went by how they speak, what their nonsense. You were not there. For historical science. Well, if a crime is committed, you were not there to see it. If someone steals your book, and you think they have it, there's nothing you can do about it because you were not there. You didn't see them take your book. You didn't see them break into your home. You were not there, so how do you really know? Even with all the evidence, how do you know you were not there? And that's the thing, you can present them with all the evidence you want, and they'll think you were not there. God was there. That's how I believe God. God says it, so I believe it. But how do you know God said it? You were not there. Well, that's pretty much the end of this video, but I'm going to let it run just in case I think of something else to say. Feel free to like, subscribe, feel free to watch any of my other videos. And remember, you are not there. And this is actually a very good book on evolutionary biology if you want to get it. By Douglas Futuyma. This is the third edition, but this is like almost 20 years old. That's how long it's been since I graduated from college. Almost 20 years. Yep, I'm that old. Seriously, historical science, observational science, come on. You got people who know anything or very little about science, trying to pass themselves off as educated. And just tell them, why so serious? They don't want to accept actual knowledge. When I used to go to church, I used to be a Christian, you'd be shocked some of the nonsense they used to say. Oh, Darwin recanted on his deathbed. Even if he did, so the hell what? That doesn't mean anything. In science, there's no person that's an authority. An authority as in, well, that person says something, so we're going to believe what that person says. Hell no. You got to prove what you write. It has to be in peer-reviewed research journals where other scientists can see it, and of course they can tear that sucker up and you have your findings up. They don't know even what a theory is. It's just hilarious listening to them. Also, I strongly recommend you watch Dark Knight of 2525's videos, Logic, Armored Skeptic, Bible Reloaded, Koran Reloaded, and just a few others. Can't think of all their names right now, but there's plenty of other people. Logic, I said, Armored Skeptic, Aaron Raw, very good. Aaron Raw Destroys a Big Daddy track, check that out. What else can I say? There's plenty of other videos out there. And feel free to watch any of mine. They're not as good as the people I've mentioned, obviously. But, you know, still. How many of these people, these creationists, you think ever took a course in evolutionary biology or any science class? Also, you know, there's nothing really wrong with reading their literature, you know, what these creationists write. You know, you want to know what their arguments are, even though they're very weak. It can be very entertaining. I have a lot of their books myself. It's very entertaining. Read Richard Dawkins' books, you know, The Greatest Show on Earth. Make sure you read that. You have a better understanding of evolutionary biology. There are many other books, you know, that are pretty good to read. There's, let's see if I can think of some more. There's Undeniable by Bill Nye, you know, which is a good book. It's not really, you know, it's a good book. And then, of course, Jerry C.Y.N.E. Why Evolution is True. You know, that's always good to read. And, of course, you got Christopher Hitchens' The Portable Atheist. You know, that's a pretty good book you could read. Universe from Nothing by Lawrence Krauss. You know, there's plenty of books that I would recommend you read. The Moral Arc by Michael Shermer.